And
This is the part, excuse me, Nick, this is the part where Nick tells you that he called me last night very nicely to scold me.
it wasn't a scolding, I would say. It was, so I think that you have a brand on the internet right now, and that brand is that you are an expert, right? Is that you are somebody that people can not only look up to, but they can really count on to give them, tough but positive advice on how to be healthy, active, be their best person, live their best life, right? And well, there's something about like sunscreen smells and sun and pina coladas and all the crap that they put in top. And listen, I enjoy, and I don't even drink, but the idea of laying on a pool float with sunglasses on in the sun with some like nice music on in the background and like sipping on a pina colada, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But have one.
Yes.
Don't have 25 pina coladas. All right, so Mike, we had an idea for an episode about vacation damage control. And this is an episode that I think is actually pretty good for people. It could be pretty important because, vacation is a time where people want to go away, they want to let loose, they want to enjoy themselves, but you also don't want to ruin 6 months of hard work for a week of pleasure. So you kind of got to find that happy medium. And it's the end of the summer and people are probably going on vacations if they happen already, or maybe they have something lined up in the fall or the winter. So this is something good to talk about. And I wasn't sure when we were going to do it. And then I was just kind of scrolling through social media to check out what was going on, what you had posted, how people were reacting to our videos. And I saw a video that you had put up and it prompted a conversation between you and I. And this was just last night. And I think after having that conversation, we both realized that this was something that was important to talk about. I want to show people that video. So let's just take a look at that really quick.
Okay.
Hey, babe.
Yeah,
What are you having for breakfast?
I'm getting my protein. I'm prioritizing protein. No, I'm not. I'm having bread and booze. Keep the viscosity of the blood real thin. Get the schnuckle like this. Everybody's got it wrong.
All right. So we've seen the video now, right? And
This is the part, excuse me, Nick, this is the part where Nick tells you that he called me last night very nicely to scold me.
it wasn't a scolding, I would say. It was, so I think that you have a brand on the internet right now, and that brand is that you are an expert, right? Is that you are somebody that people can not only look up to, but they can really count on to give them, tough but positive advice on how to be healthy, active, be their best person, live their best life, right? And so when I saw that video, I just worried that it was cheapening your personal brand, and of course the brand of the podcast, where people might look at that and say, why would I listen to this joker? Why would I listen to this guy? He looks like a disaster, whatever it is.
And what's with the Gilligan hat?
And what's with the Gilligan hat? Exactly.
Skin cancer. That's what with the Gilligan hat.
So the hat was not the problem. The hat was not the problem. It was the tone and the way the video was. And I just wanted to just mention to you that people can take that in different ways. And I don't want people to look at you and think that you're not an expert, right? That you are not someone that they can look to for guidance. And I think we had a really interesting conversation about it, and you had a different opinion about it. And I just wanted to kind of talk about that on camera.
So one of the things that Nick said to me, he very nicely said what he said there. And he said, Mike, I know you were just kidding. And I said, Nick, I wasn't kidding, because I actually was drinking those Bloody Marys, which were delicious. And I was eating that bread. I wasn't prioritizing protein, and we'll get into why I said that. But I was, from that video that you just posted, I was eating bread, although there was baked beans on there, Nick. So there was some protein, but according to you, because I don't really eat baked beans, according to you, Nick, there's a lot of sugar in there as well.
I believe there was a lot of sugar in bacon.
Yeah, and truth be told, when we were on a cruise, and we were walking in there, there was a guy mixing up Bloody Marys, and I understand mimosas, right? And I'm not somebody has ever had these things. I was like, you know what? I like tomatoes. I like Tabasco. Let me try one of these things. And I had one. It's freaking delicious. And here I am with this gluten-free, because I'm gluten-free, right? A gluten-free bread and baked beans, and we can get into the reasons why I had that. It wasn't like I set out to do it. And then I was like, oh my God, that Bloody Mary went down in 2 seconds, Nick.
I mean, you're in vacation mode, so I guess it's
And
easy to have that happen.
Yeah, and then I had another one, and between the bread and the Bloody Mary, it was like the best breakfast. It was the best breakfast in the world.
Of course, not sustainable. This is vacation life.
Correct. So day 2, day 3, day 4, it was a 5-day cruise. And my wife jokingly said, hey, babe, what do you have? And she pulled out the phone. It wasn't planned. I didn't know what was going to happen. But yeah, I wasn't kidding. That's what I had for breakfast every morning. And I did smear mustard on there. So it was like baked beans on gluten-free, these little tiny cute little mini gluten-free breads with mustard, and Bloody Marys with lots of Tabasco. So that was legitimately, swear to God, to my mouth, to God's ears, my breakfast. I wasn't kidding.
Listen, I think we can all live our lives on vacation, enjoy ourselves, let loose a little bit. But I do worry about promoting excessive drinking at any time. So that was a little piece of it. And then, of course, the dietary, aspect of it as well. And I just wanted to caution you because as we grow in this podcast, I do think, like I said, people will look to you. Through modeling your behavior and then also, through your words as well. So actions and words. And, I just want people to understand that that is not something that you're doing all the time, that was your vacation life. And sometimes people see these clips on the internet as just isolated one thing, and that might be all they know you for. So, I just wanted to bring it up and kind of express my opinion about it. So that was all. And it was a good reminder that we wanted to do this episode anyway to talk about, ways to half let loose on vacation and not ruin all the game.
I gotta be honest with you. I really enjoyed that breakfast. And I am not an advocate for excessive drinking and stuff like that. But I'm also not an advocate, and we are not advocates of being perfect all the time, because there's a lot of fitness people that do that. And
certainly a vacation is a time to let loose.
yes, and and look, if you want to be rigid 100%, I love that work ethic. But you have a family as well, and they may not have the same goals and aspirations, and you don't want to be the buzzkill.
At the end of the day, for me, it's just making sure that there's context with all this stuff and making sure that if this is the only thing that someone sees of you, that they understand who you really are and not just who you are in that moment.
That I'm not just a fall-down drunk that wears a Gilligan hat with stupid tattoos. I got it. What a pretty wife. And you say, why is this girl with that guy? And why is Nick Skolnick doing a business venture with this clown?
Right.
But so let's talk about how people can navigate those vacations, because some people go on 3. Good for them. They go on 3, 4 vacations, and this is a big question, Nick. We have videos coming up where you talked about, Mike, give me the biggest questions over the 30 years of training people. This is a big question that people give me, especially once they've made huge changes.
Yeah.
Because if somebody comes to you, Nick, and they've lost a couple of pounds, they generally don't ask, what do I do on vacation? But when somebody comes in and maybe they've had a stroke or a heart attack, or they've lost 60, 70, 80 pounds, they're literally fearful to go on vacation because they don't want to, what you said in the beginning, they don't want to give it all back. They say, oh my God, I broke my balls, or not if they're a woman, for the last year. I'm finally healthy. My wife wants to have sex with me again. I'm off 2 blood pressure medications, but now I'm going away. I'm not going to be with Mike Lynch. He's not going to train me for a week, 2 weeks. Sometimes people go to Italy or Africa. They're gone or Greece. They're gone for 2 weeks. They have to go away for business. And they're literally frightened to go away because they don't want to give it all back. So that's what really, we gave you the Gilligan's Island video, but that's what today's video should be about. How do they strike that balance, right, Nick? What are some of the things they can do to ensure that all their gains won't go away? Because I did, what I'll leave out of that video, Nick, I walked around the cruise ship for an hour before I had that breakfast. Now, did I go in and pump? Yeah.
Go ahead.
Did I go in and pump weight? No, but I still did cardiovascular all 4 days because I'm a shit sleeper. And I got up and I was just laying in bed in this dark cruise ship cabin. So I did do 60 minutes of cardio before I ate that.
And that's important. I wanted to bring up a couple things just right off the bat that people can do. And one of those things is waking up every day and getting a little bit of cardio in. Because sure, you might be at Disney World walking around for 8 hours a day, but you're stopping for a churro every 20 minutes and, a big, sugary drink, and then you get a meal. And then, so you're not really getting exercise or cardio by just that movement throughout the day. Now, sure, it's a little bit, it's better than sitting all day, but waking up a little early and hitting the gym and going to the elliptical or walking around the resort that you're at, or, just doing that little bit of cardio in the morning to start your day can be a really solid way to start off on a vacation, to burn a few calories, to keep moving, to keep yourself feeling good. And it also means that you probably didn't overdrink the night before, because if you know you have to wake up early and do some cardio, you don't want to do that hungover. So maybe it holds off a little bit of the drinking from the night before if you are drinking, and it also gets you started in a positive way doing that cardio in the morning. So I think that can be really helpful for people.
Absolutely. It's about moderation, right? And look, there's been vacations that, Nick, and now it's funny because I'll front load. So there have been vacations, Nick, where I'll go and do absolutely no exercise whatsoever. The only exercise I like to do sorry, babe, I like to have balcony sex, Nick. I like to do balcony sex.
Okay.
I don't know. It's about being outside. I don't know what it is. So if there's a balcony, I'm getting a little cardio the old school way. Okay. But there have been vacations where I literally will do no exercise whatsoever. But here's the thing. I beat the shit out of myself extra the week beforehand. And I really think that when we look at our lives, Nick, we can look at our lives, whether it's fitness or relationships or business ventures. It's like a book. And in those books are chapters, right? And we can chop those chapters down to months and weeks. And in totality, now if you look, Nick, you've gotten a little leaner we're about a year into this. If you look at the videos in the beginning, Nick was just as handsome as he is today, but Nick's, a little bit more shredded now because he's lost 10 pounds in the last year. So now if somebody looked at our podcast every week, they're not going to see that change. But if they look at this video and say, let me see what Mike's talking about, and they go back to our first episode, they're going to see those 10 pounds. So it's about 365 days a year and what you're doing in totality. So I was going on a vacation once. I knew there was no access to anything. So what I did is I did doubles the week before. I did training before I went to work, and I did training the night.
You put a little money in the bank.
That's right, because at the end of the day, it said chapters, right? So we say it like for 4 weeks in a month. So I just doubled up the week beforehand, and I now I would never work out twice a day. I just don't love fitness that much, but I bookended, instead of doing it here and here, I front loaded, and then I sat back pretty on that workout on that week, and I didn't work out. I didn't feel guilty about it. Now, was I looking forward to work out when I came home? Sure I was. Was I a little exhausted that Friday? I didn't want to work out twice, Nick, but I knew I was going to have no access, and I didn't want to get fat, hypertensive, and feel shitty and feel insecure about my physique 3 weeks later. So it all comes out in the wash, and you got to break even. So sometimes, you do a little more here and you do a little here, and sometimes you got to have, bread and booze for breakfast.
So there's that, right? A couple things that people can keep in mind as well. A lot of these, especially these cruise ships, all-inclusive resorts, they have the big buffets. There's a ton of food out there. You don't have to eat until you feel sick. Just because there's unlimited access to food doesn't mean you should eat all the food that you can cram into your body. You can still eat normal portions even at a buffet. It's not easy. You got to be premeditated. You got to think about it. You should not be coming back to your table with a plate that has this much food on it, right? You should still have a normal amount of food even though you have access to all the food. That will not be the only time you eat that week.
Yeah.
You can eat like a normal person. And if you're having drinks, don't have every single drink be a pina colada. Don't have every single drink be a daiquiri. Those are sugar it's a mountain of sugar in those drinks. It's a sugar bomb.
You know what's crazy that you say that, Nick? I don't think, if I did have a pina colada, I'm 52 years old now. I probably have not had a pina colada since I'm like 20 years old. I was on the cruise ship and somebody next to me had a pina colada. And I was like, I don't know. I don't even like coconut, but it smelled so good. Do you know I went and had a pina colada?
Well, there's something about like sunscreen smells and sun and pina coladas and all the crap that they put in top. And listen, I enjoy, and I don't even drink, but you know, the idea of laying on a pool float with sunglasses on in the sun with some like nice music on in the background and like sipping on a pina colada, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
But have one.
Yes.
Don't have 25 pina coladas because that is so many extra calories that you don't need.
Well, that's funny that you say that because that's why I brought it up. I did get it, Nick. And I don't even know if they put much booze in it because at least I didn't taste it. So it must be a dangerous drink. I had it. It was delicious, but I wouldn't have wanted a second one. And that is a benefit of being mostly healthy most of the time because the palate changed.
Well, it's so overly sweet. I'm sure they didn't make that with, you know, organic whole ingredients. That was a mix. They make it in those machines. They blend up 50 of them at a time. It's all corn syrup and like fake coconut flavors, you know.
Right. There's probably mold in the machine, everything that I got in there. But to your point, though, it did taste delicious. But by the time I got to the bottom of it, I was like, oh, I can't have another one of these.
Yeah, and maybe you have it with some food too, because that might help like settle your stomach a little bit.
Yeah, but it tasted like I had one and I wouldn't have wanted a second one.
Yeah.
And that is the benefit of eating whole foods and healthfully most of the time, that your taste buds do change. So when you do have those cookies or pina coladas or greasy hot dogs or whatever, it feels good in the short term, but because there's a lot of people walking around, Nick, they don't get that sensation from the pina colada where they just want another one and another one and another one. They don't eat hot dogs and feel greasy afterwards, or a sloppy chicken parmesan and feel like I physically get like nauseated after those foods. So yes, people can look at those videos of me eating chicken parm and they're on the internet for you to look, or social media with my kids, eating a whole pack of pasta. We talked about this on cheat day, Nick, that you didn't believe that I ate 2 pounds of pasta, and I do. But to your point, 98% of the time, I am not living that way. But I do allow for that 2 and 5% of the time that a lot of influencers don't talk about, don't share, or say you have to be a 100%. And that is
the
not
vacation is you build up. You want the vacation to be the cheat days. You want to be able to enjoy yourself. But again, enjoying yourself in moderation. Now, the thing is, you deserve it, right? You deserve it. Most people, right? You've been working all year. You worked hard.
right.
You earned
You
that
earned
vacation.
it. Yeah, I like the
right?
word earn better than deserve.
Sure,
Yeah.
but you earned that vacation.
Yeah.
You know, you busted your butt. You did everything for your family. You did everything that your boss needed you to do. If you run your own business, you've been like working hard for everybody else. You finally get to vacation. You do deserve to let loose a little bit.
Right.
But you shouldn't do so much that you feel like garbage, because it's not what's best for you. What's best for you is to get some relaxation, is to cheat a little bit, probably, you know, to have the things that you don't normally have. But if you go overboard, you're not helping yourself. You're really not.
Yeah, and you know what it is too, Nick, and this is no diss on any other countries, you know, so I thought about one morning when I got up to do a walk. I said, you know, maybe I should go to the gym, because they have gyms on these cruise ships, Nick. And this is just common sense stuff that I've learned along the way. Now, I'm sure cruise ships have some sort of doctor on board, right? And there was a morning I got up and I was feeling particularly energetic. And I got up and I had my coffee and I was by myself. And I said, maybe I'll go to the gym and I'll do some high intensity interval training on like a bike or something. And I went up to the gym, Nick, and I was the only one there. And I got on the bike and I started to do some sprints. And all of a sudden I stopped myself. You know why I stopped myself, Nick?
Why?
Because high intensity, there's people that will throw a blood clot or a piece of plaque can break off from high intensity training. Look, there's some danger that comes along with training. But I stopped myself. And you know why? I was like, shit, I'm sure that there's a decent doctor on this cruise ship, but I'm in the middle of fucking nowhere. I don't see out because on these cruise ships, the gym is located at the front of the ship. It's beautiful, but I didn't see anything, Nick. And I started to spike my heart rate up to 95%. So I was up into zone 4. And all of a sudden, this light bulb of common sense went off in my head. I said, Lynch, it's 10 to 6 in the morning. I'm thinking a great cardiologist is not on this cruise ship. You blow a clot right now and you need intervention, I'm thinking Royal Caribbean ain't set up for it, pal. And that's a game over situation. I got off the bike, I took my water, and I turned it back into zone 2. I got that heart rate to about probably 120, 110. Because now you can throw a clot on a walk too, but you're definitely not going to throw a clot or break off a plaque like you are if you're spiking your heart, because I get my heart rate all the way up to 162, Nick. So it's about being smart. Now that could be when you go out to, if you're going away for 7 to 10 days, asking your server for no butter and oil that we've talked about in certain things like.
So yeah, learning to order the right way isn't just a good idea throughout the year. It's a good idea on these vacations. And I wanted to say, you don't have to make every single meal epic on a vacation. You can have 1 to 2 normal meals and then one really amazing meal throughout the day. Not that every meal does not have to be a showstopper.
Right.
Or a heart attack meal.
Right, exactly, because it's a give and take. Like Loredana, my wife, she gets these really thin organic corn cakes. They're like rice cakes, but corn cakes. And she put it in the carry-on. So when we got on the plane, I was a little hungry and she broke out. I had those instead of eating whatever crap they were serving. And it's all cumulative. Before we got on, I woke up in the morning and I had a big, huge, much bigger breakfast than I normally would have to carry me over.
Well, that's another piece of travel is getting to and from, because a lot of times, not only will airport food be twice as expensive, but it's probably twice as bad for you. Because what you're going to find in that airport, now maybe there's a nice sit-down restaurant where you can get a salad with grilled chicken, maybe, but maybe not. Maybe there's only fast food, and normally you don't eat fast food, but now you're starting off your vacation with food that's terrible for you and probably doesn't even taste that good. And you're spending twice as much on it. So be premeditated when you go to that airport. Either bring food, because you're going to be on that plane for 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 hours, who knows. Now, of course, very long flights, you can't bring 5 meals with you, but bring some snacks that are not the worst thing in the world. You don't want to just have to buy, Skittles and Doritos at the airport. You want to be able to bring something, maybe some fruit, bring some nuts, bring something, a corn cake or a rice cake or something like that. There are ways that you can, especially on the way out, maybe not on the way back, you can hedge your bets a little bit. You can do a little better than what's available at the airport, save a little bit of money, and not start off in the worst way possible.
I did eat the whole sleeve though, Nick. I'm not going to lie. I ate the whole sleeve of corn cakes, but it's still.
All right.
So I did.
It's a corn cake.
Yeah, I didn't eat a corn cake. I ate the whole sleeve.
What's the serving size? 1 corn cake? 2 corn cakes?
No, the whole sleeve. I think there's like 15 in there.
Wait, what's 1 serving size? What are you supposed to have?
I think the serving size is a corn cake. Well, they have like what it was, because I did look it up. And I ate, there was like 16 in the pack. right? But it wasn't bad. It was like 90 grams of carbs, but it had no fat, very, very little protein. And I'm not going to lie to you, I don't drink these a lot, but I had a Diet Coke with it, Diet Coke. No
I
booze,
can't.
no booze,
I
man.
know, but
That was
Diet
cheap.
Coke, just have the Coke. What's in that aspartame, all that other garbage? I feel like, my personal opinion, the Diet Coke's worse than the regular Coke.
You know what? You're probably right. I haven't had a regular Coke. A regular Coke, I'm going to say about 30 years. And I was a big, and sorry, Mom. My mom didn't know though. In my house, in my refrigerator was always a root beer, which I wasn't a root beer guy, cream soda. Me and my dad love cream soda. 7-Up, a Sprite. And for whatever reason, because those were clear, Nick, I thought they were healthier. And disgusting. My mom used to like get so mad at me. I would open the refrigerator, Nick, and I would drink it right out of a 2-liter bottle.
Of course.
And then, my mom would yell at me, make me get a glass. But when she wasn't looking, right out of the 2-liter bottle and right back into the refrigerator, which is pretty disgusting now that I think about it. But she was on to, my mom was on to a lot of things. But, yeah, so it's all cumulative, right? Like the average person probably on average goes away for 7 days. So it's from the minute you leave that house to the minute you get back. And there's a value in, Nick, and me and Laura Donna have done this. We prep food for when we get back, because I would say that, I think so. I don't know if you agree with me on this. One of the most exhausting things for me is the travel home. It's the
Well, vacations can be exhausting.
right, the travel home, and for whatever reason, whatever Uber or limo driver, they always drive super fucking slow on the way home. I don't know what it is. It's my anxiety or whatever. And by the time I walk in, the dogs, we got to pick up the dogs and turn the water back on the house. I'm very hungry. So we have set up healthy food that we have set up and froze, that now we just got to defrost it and boom. Because we have been guilty of the past. When 10 years ago, I wasn't as worried about having a stroke or a heart attack. We would say, it, let's just go up to Chipotle. And after a whole vacation of eating food that I probably shouldn't have and drinking booze and maybe skipping workouts, now I just whack 12 extra tacos at Chipotle because you're tired and you just want to go to sleep.
Yeah.
So it's really, you have to, after the age of 30, 32, you really need to go away for these vacations. You need the mental break. You need the break from work. But really, you don't want to go on vacation 2-3 times a year to derail your health and set yourself back a month.
Right.
So it's a give and taken kind of thing, where if you have that booze for breakfast, like Mike Lynch did in that video, now maybe you shouldn't have it at dinner. And I didn't drink at dinner. When Laura Donna ordered her glass of wine, and I think even Sebastian had a cock, I didn't drink at dinner. So I front loaded my booze, but I didn't drink at dinner. I sat there and drank. They're like, Mr. Lynch, would you like it? I'm like, no, I'm good. Took care of that at breakfast. I just had the ice water. And, so it's really about, making sure that you're doing some sort of cardio. And if you want to go to the gym and lift weights, and, I'm a big advocate of balcony sex, Nick. Have you ever had balcony sex, Nick?
I have not.
It's fun. I mean,
I'm imagining like the balcony overlooks an area where there are some other people, right? I mean, your balcony might be overlooking the pool area. That would be very odd. Your balcony might be overlooking like a courtyard where many people are hanging out. Also very odd. So I suppose it's like got to be a very specific balcony, perhaps not a balcony that's being looked at by other balconies. There's a lot that goes into this whole thing. I don't want to know all the details. I'm not big into the balcony sex, but I mean, let's just leave that to the imagination for now, and we'll go from there.
Well, I will tell you this. The times that we have had it was either facing the ocean and
Think about the dolphins, Mike. Don't do that to the dolphins. The dolphins didn't ask that. They can't control what's happening out there. They know what's going on. Dolphins are smarter than you think, Mike.
Yeah, but how do you know that? Listen, maybe they saw it and they were like, oh, yeah, the guy looks good for a 52-year-old guy. And now they went over and found Mrs. Dolphin and gave a little but they got motivated.
But then they don't have a balcony. Now they're jealous. The dolphins, then they get all aggro. They didn't have a full breakfast because there weren't a lot of fish around. Save the dolphins.
They didn't have the gluten-free bread.
Ditch the sex on the balcony for the dolphins at the very least.
I have to say this for my wife because she's going to hit me in the head with a shoe when we're watching this later. But the balcony did face the ocean, like in places, and then with the cruise ship you're out at sea. So, but there is some there is some magical about having that sun hit the schmeckle.
No. Well, here's what I'll say. In a little slightly more, let's say, tame version, I do enjoy outdoor showers, right? So I've been to many places where, they have like a little gated off area, but you can go in there and the sun is shining on you as you take a shower, and it's amazing. A solid outdoor shower will turn a nice vacation into an amazing vacation when you're looking forward to that outdoor shower every day. So I get it, but I'm going to hold at the shower and, perhaps think about the outdoor shower to fulfill that need. All right, let's end this out. I want to leave people with a couple takeaways from this episode. Going on vacation, that first thing, remember, if you can start that day off with some low intensity cardio at the very least, if not, maybe a little strength training, that's going to set the tone for your whole day. Something really important. If you are going to a specific place, not out into the ocean, research a few healthy restaurants. There might be a really good healthy restaurant where you're going, and it might be something new, something exciting, and it doesn't have to be, a 14-inch tall bacon double cheeseburger that you can only get in the one place. It might be something healthy that's also really tasty. So that's something that people can think about. And also, don't make every single meal a cheat meal on a vacation. Try to make one meal a day the cheat meal if you're going to have one every day. And then have a normal breakfast and a normal lunch. Or if you're super into breakfast, have that super sloppy, crazy breakfast. But then don't have a lunch and a dinner that is, the biggest, sloppiest, most disgusting meal you've ever had. I mean, those are little ways that people can try to take a vacation, make it fun and exciting, but not make it ruin all the gains from the year, right? And remember, like I said before, when you go to an all-you-can-eat buffet, it's all you should eat, not all you can eat. You can cram a lot more food into your belly than you should. Think about that. Don't come back with a plate that's higher than your head is when you're sitting down. Have a reasonable amount of food. Try a little bit of everything so you don't walk out of there feeling like a piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Anything else to add for takeaways?
Yeah, two things. I kind of touched on this about the whole Royal Caribbean thing, but then I lost my way, Nick. And this is not a diss on any country that you may go to, but certain countries and certain places don't have the best health kit. And, the biggest night of the year, 365, to have a heart attack, Nick, I've told you this before. Do you remember what it is?
Thanksgiving?
Yep. And that's because when we eat fatty meals, the fatty acids in our blood go up.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're on vacation, now you're not exercising, and you're not having Balcasacs, and you're eating fat meal and sugary pina coladas and stuff like that, the fat is building up in your arteries and your blood, and this could be a perfect time to have a stroke or a heart attack. I'm being serious right now, and I don't know if there's no time in the world that you want to have a heart attack. Hopefully you and me and everybody watching will never have a heart attack or stroke, and they'll pass at 100 years old in their sleep. But there's certain places that you would prefer to be. And there's certain countries and certain places or certain settings, like being in the middle of the ocean, where if this tragedy strikes, that's not the place you want to be, because the outcome is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's one. Now, if you go back and watch that video again, I want to be clear about one other thing, Nick. And we've talked about this, and we got to do many videos about this. In that video, you'll see me, I come up and I say, I'm prioritizing protein. Now, the reason why I do that, Nick, because people, and hopefully that's why more and more people will subscribe to the LynchFit Podcast, because we do not have one workout there's not only one workout that me and Nick talk about. There's not only one exercise system or nutrition plan. We know that everything works for different people, and some people have to do certain diets for religious reasons or whatever, and we're willing to give the best and worst of everything. Now, the reason why I said prioritize protein, because that is, as you know, Nick, that's the big word of the year, prioritize protein, protein, build muscle. You've seen our protein videos. If you haven't, go click. It's there, Nick, right? But protein is important. But, it's funny, Nick, because I hope what people find the most comforting about me and you is that we don't flip-flop, and we don't bow down to any sort of ideology. And the same people that are now this year in 2025 are telling people they got to rush to the kitchen and prioritize protein. Some of these people, and they could be a chiropractor or somebody who's not even a cardiologist that's talking about cardiology, that's a psychiatrist or whatever influencer. These are the same people that 2 years ago when fasting was the vogue, they were telling people to go 1 day, 2 days, 3 days with no food whatsoever. Now they're flip-flopping because they got to always have something that's clickbaity, and now they're saying prioritize protein. So my message in that, there was a message in that video, is that, yes, you should be getting protein 1 time a day, several times a day, and that's going to be different for everybody. And some people are going to get it from vegan sources, and some people are going to get it from animal sources. But, Nick, if you're in a setting where you can't get protein, or there's not protein that you can digest, or you can't eat because of religious beliefs, it's going to be okay. You're not going to lose muscle. Your testosterone's not going to crash. All your muscle gains for the last year are not going to go away. It's going to be a-okay. And that's why I said prioritize protein, because it's just like the flavor of the month, and that's not what we do here. So yes, you should be eating protein if you can get it within a few hours of waking up. If you're not an intermittent faster, then great. But if you miss protein here and there and you get it at some point, you're going to be okay. Your muscles aren't just going to fall off your body. Okay. And that was what my message there. So yeah, life is short. Be strategic. Like Nick said, exercise most of the time. Try to, have some fun, have some bad stuff, have some good stuff, and you should come up even if they gain 2-3 pounds, Nick, by the time Wednesday, they get home on a Sunday, by the time Wednesday comes, you're back looking lean and mean like Nick, and all is good.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3 pounds. You can get that off in a couple weeks when you get back. You don't want to gain 10 pounds on vacation.
10 pounds is, yeah.
That's severe. But, stay hydrated, pick your battles, choose the amazing meals that you're going to have, and that's all you can do. But have fun, because you deserve it. Yeah. You do deserve it.
And if they gain 10 pounds in a week, Nick, they better be under the age of 30. Because, for the most part, people under the age of 30 probably most likely will not pop a heart attack or a stroke. But if you're over the age of 30, 32, and you gain 10 pounds in a week, this could be bad.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. I really enjoyed this episode. I hope you did too. Remember, as always, like, subscribe, comment, send the video around to somebody who you know is going on vacation. And I really appreciate you spending the time with us today. Thank you so much, and have a great day.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks. We'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Please hit the like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss any content in the future.